more people to join and then start the webinar. Hi everyone, and thank you for joining today's webinar on Form Layouts Part 2. My name is Ansel Gomes and I'm part of the support team. You might have come across my name when reaching out for help with cases or issues, or perhaps you joined me for the first part of the Form Layouts webinar I did last month. In this session, we'll be continuing with Form Layouts Part 2, where we'll explore how flexible and tailored you can make your layouts and workbooks to suit your team's needs. As you know, we host webinars every other Wednesday at 4 p.m. UK time. On the screen, you can see topics we've covered recently and what's coming up next. If you'd like to explore these topics in more depth, we also run a 2-day training course for system admins and reporting. And for more information, you can reach out to your account manager or email us at training@workbooks.com. So for today's webinar, in part 2 of this form layout session, we're going to go a bit deeper into form layout configuration and look at ways to make your form layouts even smarter and more dynamic. First, we'll look at information messages. So these allow you to display relevant and useful information directly next to fields on a layout. They are great for adding guidance, reminders, or important context for users while working on a record. Next, we'll cover reference fields. Reference fields allows data from one record to appear on the other. For example, you might want to display information about a person's employer directly on the person record, or show details about prospective customer on an opportunity record. This helps surface key information without users having to navigate away. I'll also show you how to control the order of tabs. So this includes deciding which tabs appear on the form layout and changing the order in which they're displayed. So the most important information is presented first. In addition to that, we'll explore how to display tabs as panels. This allows you to show details of more than one tab at the same time, side by side, which can really be useful for improving visibility. Finally, we'll go into more detail around layout rules, showing how you can control layouts based on certain conditions or criteria. Everything on the agenda I'll show you in the demo in Workbooks, so you'll see exactly how these features work in practice. I also want to mention that this session is being recorded, so don't worry if you miss anything, the recording will be available later. Now let me jump into Workbooks and give you a live demo For those who've joined our webinars before, you might recognize our demo environment. I want to mention that I'm logged in as a system admin and I have full access to the demo environment. Now, Workbooks includes many different record types, but for today's demonstration, I'll be focusing on the person record. Specifically, I'll be using Alan Whitehead's person record. So in our previous form layout part 1 webinar, we covered how to copy a standard layout and create a new form layout called customer success layout. We will be using that CSM form layout to demonstrate the features on our agenda. So if you look at Alan Whitehead's record, you'll notice the view button in the top right hand corner of the form. So this helps you switch between different form layouts. So Alan is currently on the customer success layout, and you can see the different sections we added during part 1 of the webinar last month. So we created a training information section with fields like system admin, training attended checkbox, reporting training attended checkbox, a trainer name, the week of attendance field. We also added a customer overview section, which included fields for account manager. And then within this section, we created a subsection called goals and objectives with fields like current goals for usage and adoption notes and challenges. So I will now start with adding information fields to this form layout. So as I mentioned in the agenda, information fields allow you to display guidance, instructions, or context directly on the form next to the field your users are interacting with. This is a great way to remind them what this field is for and provide clarity on how to complete it. For this demo, we'll add an information field just above the week of attendance field. I'll place the information right there and add something like, please add a confirmed or expected date. And to do that, to add an information field, you will need to go to the CSM form layout, and we do that by going to Start, Config, Customization, Record Types, People, and then under Form Layouts, we open our Customer Success form layout. And then you go to the Fields tab, and you'll see there is a plus add button. So if you click the drop down next to it, you will see options for information message and reference field. So I will select information message. And under parent section, our week of attendance field sits within training information section. So I'm just going to select training information section, and its position will be just after trainer name before week of attendance. And then I will add a message like, please add a confirmed date or expected date if the session hasn't been scheduled yet. Just something like that. And save it. Save and close. I'll save the form layout. And then I will close and reopen Alan Whitehead's person record for the changes to take effect. So when I open this, I did set these sections to be collapsible, so it is expected for these sections to be closed. So when I expose or open this section, you will see that the information message has been displayed now just above the field I wanted it to display. above. I also wanted to mention that text messages can contain up to 255 characters, and you can also make them configure um, these as a hyperlink to other information as well. Next, I want to talk about reference fields. A reference field allows you to pull data from one record and display it on another. In our case, I am going to create a field called account here on the person record. So this field will reference the customer field on the organization record. So the person record will always show the current value from the organization. So if I open the organization record for Alan Whitehead, so if I just go there, you will see that there is a field called customer tier, and that's the source for our reference field. A few things to know about reference fields is that the data in the reference field is only read only. You cannot edit it directly on the destination record. Reference fields always display the current value from the source record, so any updates on the organization will automatically show on the person record. Reference fields cannot be used in the landing page grids of the destination record. You cannot report on reference fields. Also, reference fields cannot display values from certain fields such as linked fields, report cells, report grids, report selects, or dashboards. So while reference fields are powerful for surfacing important data, they do have these limitations, and it's important to understand them before adding one. Now let's go ahead and add an account tier field to the person record so you can see it in action. So if I go back to my form layout, just under fields, add the plus, click on the plus add button, and then select reference field. So we'll give this a field name. In our case, it'll be account tier. Under link fields, you will see two options, employer and works for. I'll choose employer because that's where the customer tier field exists that we want to reference. Now next, under reference field, I'll select customer tier. And I'll also tick this box. So this will add a small arrow next to the field on the person record, allowing users to quickly open the source record if they need to. And for the parent section, I'm going to select customer tier, customer overview section, and set the position to be just after account manager. And then save and close this and save the form layout. And then close and reopen Alan Whitehead's person record for the changes to take effect. And if I open this, you should see that that's a reference field, and there's also a little small arrow. If I press this, it opens the employer record where we take this value from. Now, let's talk about how you can rearrange tabs on a person record. So if you look at Alan Whitehead's person record, right at the top, you will see several tabs here. We are currently on the main tab, but then there are other tabs like summary, activities, emails, people, and more. You have the ability to configure the order of these tabs, deciding which ones are displayed and where they appear. Now, thinking about this from a customer success perspective, I want to adjust the order slightly. So instead of keeping the default setup, I want to move the transactions tab to the front, followed by opportunities and then the cases tab. And the reason for this is simple. So when a CSM opens a person record, they often need commercial and account context. And transactions give visibility of orders, invoices, or contracts. Opportunities highlight any open renewals, upsells, or active deals. And cases allow CSMs to quickly check whether there are any open support open support issues that could impact the relationship. So we can change the order of these tabs within the tab section of the form layout. So I'll show you how to do that. So we just open our customer success form layout, go to tabs, and then I said I want to bring the transactions tab forward. So I'm just going to open that and then give it the position just first. So you'll notice that the main tab doesn't appear in this drop down, and that's because the main tab is always fixed as the standard tab on all form layouts. But then I've set the transactions tab to be first. I'm going to save and close that. I also said that I want opportunities to follow the transactions tab. So I'll just say after transactions, save and close. And then I said I want cases to follow the opportunities tab. So just that, save and close. And I'm going to save this form layout, close and open Alan's person, record for the changes to take place. And here you can see, so we have the transactions just after the main tab, followed by opportunities, followed by cases. And you can see it's now been reordered to reflect the new priority we set. You might have also noticed that we have an overview tab here displayed as a panel on the right side of the form layout. So this setting is controlled within the main tab of the form layout config. And some of you might remember we briefly touched on this in the previous part 1 webinar. So if I go back to our form layout config, just in the main tab, and just under form style, you'll see there's a drop down with 3 options. So there is a no panel, which gives you a full width form. Panel on the left, where one specific tab appears on the left and the rest sit on the right. And then you have panel on the right, where one specific tab appears on the right and the remaining tabs sit on the left. So we're currently on the third option, where the specific tab on the right is the overview tab. Now, let's say we want the activities tab to appear on the right instead. So I'll still keep the panel on the right form style, but I'll just change the specific tab from overview to activities. I'll leave the default left-right ratio as it is, although you can experiment with what you want to see and what works best for you. I'm going to save this. And close and reopen Alan's form layout, Alan's person record. And there you go. So that shows you all activities. As we said, the overview tab to be activities, it now shows you all the activities set on the right of the form layout. Now, our last topic is layout rules. So as we know, form layouts define the structure and content of a record. They decide which fields, sections, and tabs are visible and how they're organized. And the overall look of the record, just like our customer success layout, is a form layout designed specifically for CSMs. Layout rules, on the other hand, control which form layout is applied to a record based on certain conditions. So while form layouts determine what a layout looks like, the layout rule determines when the layout should appear. So if you think of this this way, so you can have multiple form layouts for the same record type, each tailored for a different purpose. But layout rules let you dynamically select the right layout depending on the data in the record. Let's say, for example, our CSM layout, the key contacts that CSMs work with are typically IT professionals such as IT managers, network managers, head of IT, system integration managers, and similar roles. So we can set a rule to say something like, say, job title contains IT manager, head of IT, or IT professional. And here's how it works. When a CSM opens a person record, if the contact's job role matches an IT role, a CSM layout will be applied. And if the contact's job uh, title doesn't match an IT role, for example, marketing or finance or HR, the CSM layout doesn't appear. Instead, the person B2B or person B2C layout might appear. So let me just show you how this works. So if I go to the person CSM form layout, go to layout rules. There is one there is one layout rule already existing where it says employer does not equal my demo organization and my US demo organization. So this means that the layout applies to all person records whose employer is not this specific organization. Now, if I add another rule and say job title contains IT technical tech, and just filter and save this form layout. Save and close Alan Whitehead's record. So the CSM form layout will still appear. Sorry, just one sec. I think I needed to remove this. If close and reopen Alan Whitehead's person record. Okay. Sorry, it wasn't appearing because his job title is just director. But if I change this to IT director and save, should, yeah, and there we go. So the CSM layout now appears for him because his job title contains IT now, and that's exactly the rule we set up in our form layout. But say if we open another person whose job title isn't an IT professional, so if I just open, say, another person like Aaron. I just know Aaron is a sales director. He is an IT professional. You should see that he only gets these two form layouts and not the CSM form layout. And that's it on layout rules. We have now reached the end of our presentation, so I'm going to quickly recap on what we covered in part 2 of our form layouts demo. So we started with information fields, which let you add guidance or context directly on the form to help users know what a field is for. Next, we looked at reference fields, which allow data from one record to appear on the other. For example, bringing a customer tier from the organization record onto the person record. We then explored reordering tabs, giving you control over which tabs and the order they're displayed in, so information is easier to access. We also discovered displaying tabs as panels, which allows you to show more than one tab side by side, making it faster for users to see related information without switching tabs back and forth. Finally, we also talked about layout rules, which let you apply form layouts dynamically based on conditions like job title. ensuring your CSMs only see layouts relevant to the type of contact they're working with. I really hope with part one and part two of the form layout webinar, you can see just how customizable form layouts can be. There are additional features and possibilities such as automation and adding process buttons that we haven't covered today, but these are available to explore further. And a lot of helpful information is available in our knowledge base. If you need any assistance or have any questions about automation or process buttons or form layouts, please do not hesitate to reach out to us. We are always happy to help. I am open for any questions now. Okay, so I don't see any questions in the chat. Um, our next webinar is on creating record templates, and it's scheduled for the 25th of March. So we hope to see you all on that one. If you still have any questions or would like help regarding the areas we discussed today, please do check out our knowledge base, as we have lots of information resources on there. In addition to that, authorized support contacts can get in touch with the support team via the case portal. Alternatively, you can reach out to your account manager, who will be happy to assist or point you in the right direction. And finally, we do have videos on our website on the following topics displayed on the screen. You will also be able to find the recordings for this webinar along with our previous webinars by clicking on the link on the screen and selecting webinar recordings. And that's everything for today. Thank you again for your time, for taking the time out of your busy schedule to tune in. We look forward to seeing you on our next webinar in a couple of weeks, but have a great rest of your day. Thank you. Bye.